It started with a phone call. Just a regular Tuesday afternoon, nothing unusual, until my kitchen faucet suddenly gave out. Water spilled out slowly at first, then faster, leaking under the counter and soaking the floor. I was frustrated, alone, and already behind on work. I texted my landlord, but no reply. The plumber was fully booked for the week. I felt stuck. Then I remembered, my friend Anna had once mentioned her husband was pretty handy around the house. So, on impulse, I messaged her and asked if he could maybe take a look. She replied almost instantly. Sure, I'll tell Ryan to swing by after work. He loves fixing things, anyway. That evening, just as the sky was turning orange, Ryan showed up at my door. I didn't think much of it, I'd known him for years through Anna. We'd shared a few laughs at parties, bumped into each other at neighborhood gatherings. He was friendly, reliable, always carried a calm energy with him. Just a guy helping out. Nothing more. He walked in with a toolbox and a warm smile. Let's see what this leak's all about, he said. I led him to the kitchen, and he got right to work, sleeves rolled up, tools clinking, the smell of metal and dust filling the air. I offered him coffee while he tightened pipes and replaced a couple of washers. He accepted. We sat for a moment while the sealant dried, chatting casually. One topic led to another: jobs, family, and how fast the year had gone. There was nothing flirty about it. At least, not at first. But there was a shift. A long pause. A shared laugh that lingered too long. He looked at me in a way I hadn't noticed before. And I looked back. I didn't plan it. I didn't expect it. But as the night stretched on, something unspoken floated between us. He stayed longer than necessary. A little past dinner time, he was still there, leaning against the kitchen counter, sipping his second cup of coffee. He said Anna had gone out with her sister, wouldn't be home till late. I remember the silence more than anything. Not uncomfortable silence, just heavy. Filled with thoughts neither of us said out loud. He looked at the clock once, then again. I told him he could crash on the couch if he didn't want to drive back so late. He hesitated. Then nodded. That's when the night took a turn I never expected. And it's the part one haven't told anyone, not even Anna. Not until now. Because what happened after that wasn't just about a leaking pipe. It wasn't just about a couch. It was the moment everything started to change. And before I knew it, I was caught in something I couldn't undo. Something that would leave me questioning everything I thought I knew about friendship, trust, and myself. That night, I didn't sleep much. Even though Ryan was just in the other room, stretched out on the couch with a throw blanket, the whole house felt different. Quieter. Like the walls themselves were holding their breath. I lay awake replaying every word we'd exchanged, trying to convince myself it was all innocent. But deep down, I knew something had shifted. There was a look in his eyes, a softness that didn't belong there. The next morning, he was up early. I heard him in the kitchen, making coffee like it was the most normal thing in the world. He greeted me with a smile, casual and easy. Like nothing happened. And maybe that's what made it worse, how normal it all felt. He even asked if there was anything else around the house that needed fixing. I laughed it off, said no, and watched as he packed up his tools and left, leaving behind a strange silence. I didn't hear from Anna for a couple of days. When she finally called, she sounded cheerful. Ryan said the leak's fixed, she mentioned, completely unaware of the weight in her words. Guilt twisted in my stomach. I wanted to tell her everything but didn't even know how to start. Over the next few weeks, I kept bumping into Ryan, grocery store, gas station, once even outside my building like he'd been waiting in his car. Each time, he acted casual, polite. But there was a flicker in his eyes, like he knew I was just as haunted as he was. We never talked about that night, but the silence between us grew louder. I started noticing changes in myself. I became distant with Anna, dodging invites, ignoring texts. I told myself I was busy, overwhelmed. But really, I couldn't face her without feeling like a liar. And yet, a part of me still played that night over in my head, like I was trying to figure out if it was real, or if I imagined the tension. Then came the moment I couldn't ignore. Anna called to invite me over for dinner. Ryan's grilling. "You should come. We haven't all hung out in so long," she said. My heart raced. I didn't say yes, but I didn't say no either. Something about the way she spoke, so trusting, so open, made it clear she had no idea. But secrets don't stay buried forever. And that dinner invite? It was the beginning of everything unraveling. The day of the dinner came faster than I expected. I stood in front of the mirror for too long, second-guessing everything, my outfit, my hair, even the fact that I was going at all. I told myself I was just being paranoid, that it was just dinner with friends. But the pit in my stomach told a different story. When I arrived at Anna and Ryan's house, everything looked perfect from the outside. Their little garden was in bloom, lights strung across the patio, soft music playing in the background. Anna greeted me with her usual warm hug, her smile so genuine it made me feel even worse. Ryan came out from the back, grilling like she said, wearing a casual tee and that same calm smile. He barely looked at me, which somehow made the tension worse. Dinner was normal on the surface, laughs, stories, catching up. But every time Ryan spoke, I felt like I was sitting on a thin sheet of ice. I caught him glancing my way once, just for a second, and I knew he remembered everything. Anna didn't notice. Or maybe she didn't want to. After dinner, as Anna went inside to grab dessert, Ryan followed me to the kitchen under the excuse of helping with the plates. He stood just close enough to stir the air between us. "You okay?" he asked quietly. His voice was calm, but there was something behind it, a tension, maybe regret, or maybe just awareness of the secret we were both holding. "I'm fine," I said quickly, avoiding eye contact. But we both knew that wasn't true. Later that week, something even more unsettling happened. Anna called again, this time with a different tone. "Have you noticed Ryan's been a little distant lately?" she asked, almost laughing it off. "He's been getting home late from work, not really talking much." I'm probably overthinking it, but still, I froze. I wanted to tell her everything, but how could I without destroying her? Without destroying myself? And then there was another twist. A mutual friend, Lisa, mentioned in passing that she saw Ryan's car parked near my building, on a night I hadn't even seen him. That's when I realized this wasn't just about a mistake. This was turning into a pattern. A secret that was slipping out of my control. And the worst part? I didn't know who else might have noticed. Or what would happen when they did. I started double-checking my front window at night, just to make sure no cars were sitting outside. I hated that I had to think like that. This wasn't me, I wasn't the kind of person who got wrapped up in someone else's marriage. But now, every sound outside made my heart jump. I kept wondering if Lisa had told anyone else about seeing Ryan's car, or if she just brushed it off as a coincidence. Days passed, but the weight of everything only grew heavier. Anna kept texting me, more than usual, sending pictures of her and Ryan smiling at weekend events or casual selfies from the couch. Maybe she was trying to reassure herself. Or maybe she sensed something, deep down, and didn't want to say it out loud. Then came the day I ran into Anna in person, at a local cafe where we used to meet all the time. I hadn't planned to see her, but there she was, waving like nothing had changed. She hugged me tight, then pulled back and said, "You've been so distant lately. Are you okay?" I paused, unsure how to answer. There was a moment, right then, when I almost told her everything. But I couldn't. Not with her eyes searching mine for comfort, not with her still believing everything in her life was intact. So I smiled and lied. Just been busy, that's all. But she didn't look convinced. She kept glancing at me while stirring her coffee, like she wanted to say something else but couldn't find the words. Meanwhile, things with Ryan got stranger. I stopped replying to his random texts. Little things like "hope your faucet's still behaving" or "passed your street today" made me think of that coffee. I didn't want any more lines blurred, but ignoring him didn't make him go away. If anything, it made him more persistent. One evening, Anna messaged saying she was planning a small game night with close friends, including me and Ryan. She ended her text with, "I just want things to feel normal again." Those words hit hard. Normal wasn't even an option anymore. But I agreed to come, because saying no would raise more questions. Now I had to face both of them again, under one roof, pretending everything was fine. But something in my gut told me, this night wasn't going to go the way Anna hoped. The night of the game gathering arrived, and I felt a strange mix of dread and guilt twisting inside me as I stood at Anna's door. I kept telling myself this was just another evening with friends, but deep down, I knew it wasn't. Not anymore. The moment Anna opened the door, I forced a smile. Her face lit up like she'd missed me, her best friend finally coming around again. That made it worse. Inside, the atmosphere was cozy, relaxed. Soft music played in the background, and the dining table was set with snacks, drinks, and a few board games stacked neatly in the corner. A few mutual friends were already there, laughing, catching up, and I almost convinced myself that maybe I could just blend into the night without any drama. Then Ryan walked in from the kitchen. Our eyes met for a split second, and that was all it took. My pulse jumped. He looked the same, cool, collected, but there was a tightness around his smile, like he was carrying something too. The game started, and I did everything I could to stay engaged, laugh at the right moments, and avoid his gaze. Anna sat beside me, completely at ease, occasionally touching Ryan's arm or sharing inside jokes with him like everything was perfect. And maybe, to her, it still was. But halfway through the night, just as we were wrapping up a round of trivia, Anna's phone lit up on the table. She glanced at it, froze, then quickly picked it up and stepped into the hallway. Everyone else kept chatting, but I could feel the energy shift. I excused myself and went to the kitchen to grab some water, just to get away for a second. That's when I heard it. Her voice. Muffled, but sharp. "Why would you send me that?" She was clearly on a call, but her tone was different now, tight, confused, bordering on alarm. I couldn't hear everything, just pieces. "From that night, and are you sure it's him?" Then silence. She came back a few minutes later, pale, smiling awkwardly, and announced that she had a bit of a headache and was going to lie down. Everyone offered polite concern, and within 10 minutes, the group started leaving. I lingered, unsure whether to go or stay, heart pounding as Ryan pretended like nothing happened. As I stepped outside, my phone buzzed. One message. From an unknown number. It was a photo. Blurry, taken from a distance, but clear enough to make my stomach drop. It showed Ryan's car parked right outside my apartment, on a night he was supposed to be at work. No text, no explanation, just the image. Someone else knew. And whoever it was, they weren't going to stay silent. The moment I saw the photo, my heart dropped. I stood there frozen on the sidewalk, staring at the screen like it might disappear. But it didn't. It was real. And now, everything I'd been trying to hide, all the silence, all the guilt, it was unraveling faster than I could control. I didn't sleep that night. My mind kept racing through possibilities. Who sent the photo? Was it Lisa? Someone else from the neighborhood? Could it be Anna herself? That thought alone made me sick. If she knew, why hadn't she said anything? The next morning, Anna showed up at my door. No warning, no text. Just a soft knock. I opened it, and there she was, tired eyes, holding her phone in one hand and a folded piece of paper in the other. She didn't speak right away. Just walked in and stood there, staring at me like she didn't recognize me anymore. "You could have just told me," she finally said, voice shaking. I had to hear it from someone who saw his car outside your place, multiple times. They thought I should know. I tried to speak, but nothing came out. My throat was dry. All I could do was look at her, everything I wanted to explain trapped inside me. She handed me the paper. It was a printed message, anonymous. A warning. A few dates, one blurry photo, and a line that hit like a punch: your husband has been lying to you. Ask your best friend. I didn't try to lie anymore. There was no point. I admitted what happened. How it started that night with the leak. How we never talked about it after, but how wrong it was. She didn't yell. She didn't cry. She just stood there, silent, heartbroken in the worst kind of way, the quiet kind. The kind that says everything is shattered. I thought we were like sisters, she said. I trusted both of you. And then she left. I didn't hear from her for weeks. Ryan tried texting me once, but I blocked his number. I couldn't keep pretending this wasn't my doing. I had broken something that couldn't be fixed. Just when I thought things had finally hit the bottom, I got another message from the unknown number. This one was different. A video. Grainy, taken from outside my building. It showed Ryan, not with me, but getting into another car. With another woman. Suddenly, I wasn't the only secret he was keeping. The story I thought I was at the center of was just one part of a much bigger mess. And now, I wasn't sure who was betraying who. The video changed everything again. I sat on my couch for hours, replaying it, trying to process what it meant. Ryan hadn't just betrayed Anna with me, he had a whole other layer of secrets. Another woman. Another lie. All this time, I thought I was the only one who slipped, the only one carrying the guilt. But the truth was, Ryan had been walking through people's lives like a ghost, pretending, hiding, and leaving wreckage behind. I debated sending the video to Anna. She deserved to know the full story, not just the part that involved me. But before I could decide, she beat me to it. A week later, she messaged me, not angry, not cold, just tired. "I've filed for separation," she wrote. "Turns out you weren't the only one. I found messages from 2 other women. I don't need explanations anymore. Just peace." That message hit hard, but in a strange way, it offered closure. She wasn't blaming me entirely anymore. The truth was out, messy and painful, but real. And that was the start of healing, for all of us, in our own ways. Ryan eventually moved out of their home. No dramatic confrontations, no apologies. He just faded out, the way people like him do when the masks stop working. I never spoke to him again, and I don't plan to. Some things don't deserve a second chance. As for Anna, we're not best friends anymore, and maybe we never will be again. But there's a quiet understanding between us now. We see each other occasionally, at mutual friends' gatherings or in town, and there's no bitterness, just distance. A respectful silence. This whole experience changed how I look at trust, at loyalty, and at the blurred lines people often ignore until it's too late. The night Ryan came to fix the leak, it seemed like such a small, harmless thing. But that night exposed every weak point in all our relationships. It reminded me how quickly boundaries can crumble when we let emotions go unchecked. For anyone listening, let this be a reminder: secrets never stay hidden forever. And when the truth comes out, it doesn't just break hearts, it shifts entire lives. What started as a simple house visit became a real infidelity story that changed us all in ways we never saw coming. 44.